Hey, good morning, everybody. Glad you're here. I'm Rita Hickman, body mind expert, shiatsu massage therapist, and I help women get out of narcissist and toxic relationships. That's my specialty. Not only because I've been in several of them myself, but mainly because I was raised to be a teacher and I'm a healer, which means that I understand how narcissism works from a mental, a physical, an emotional, a subconscious, a cellular, a genetic, a nervous system. I understand narcissism and its effect on the body, both on the codependent and the narcissist, in many, many dimensions, many ways. And so instead of vilifying or making people evil or creating more trauma or drama in your life, because you chose a narcissist because you wanted to, because there were qualities about them that you really liked, because they made you feel a certain way, because they made you feel good, because they made you feel loved and valued and important. And that's probably one of the reasons you're still with them. Because a narcissist has a couple different sides to them, and they're all true. And the reason that you stayed were very, very good reasons. But if the toxic parts of it are way outweighing the good parts, if it's been years, decades since you felt connected and you don't know where to go or what to do, and you don't know what to do next, and you don't know how to handle it, and you've tried everything from therapy to getting mad to getting divorced to all sorts of stuff. But you're still triggering, but you still feel like somehow a narcissist's bad mood can turn you into yourself when you were 5 or 6 or 7, or remind you of your worst traumatic moments. We can work at turning this around. So I kind of specialize in trauma therapy, narcissist trauma therapy, but I'm not a therapist. Well, I am a therapist, but I'm a body-mind therapist. And that's what I'm licensed in, and that's what I'm good at. I don't go the traditional Western medicine route because it only works on one small aspect of healing from a narcissist relationship. And you need a multidimensional, multifaceted way. So today we're going to talk about what do you do when you walk in and a narcissist is battling with you, is screaming at you. So, okay. Let's say that happens today. Today, you walk in, you say, "Hey, how you doing?" And suddenly you are the most evil person in the world. You know the drill. You know what that looks like. The nitpicking, the humiliation, the, pushing your buttons, the calling you names. Now, in the past, you might have said, "You know what? Screw you, I'm out of here," and you would turn around and walk away. Or you might have gotten angry and say, "You know what you do?" But you probably learned that a narcissist can bring down the hammer 100 times worse than you would ever consider. And then they've got secrets and they've got lies they'll tell, which are cruel, which you would never do. You would never push the button of someone's biggest pain. You wouldn't bring up their dead parents. You wouldn't bring up their dysfunctional past. You wouldn't do that because you wouldn't want it done to you and you don't want to be that person. So you kind of end up trapped. You try all of these different ways, people pleasing or disassociating or getting mad or maybe just ignoring it and working harder or isolating yourself or getting depressed or going to the doctor and getting depression or anti-anxiety medication. You've done all those things. And you've seen the therapist, you've gone every week, 2 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon, and it's not really helping. That's because you're working on the wrong part. You're working on the part that everybody ignores in self-help, which is the nervous system. It's not only the nervous system, it's also learning how to stand up for yourself, how to negotiate for yourself. A lot of personal growth stuff, in the past at least, was written by men, and it was men's point of view. And so they would give advice, and who would listen to it? Women. They would give advice, and they would say, "You just need to be more compassionate. You just need to be more flexible. You just need to be more understanding." And women would try and we'd buy into it because we'd believe it. And we'd think, well, maybe if we're more compassionate, then everybody else around us will be compassionate too. That is the message that got screwed up, is even though you have been victimized and you never want to be someone who would ever victimize someone else, narcissists and other people who are being dysregulated, you can't victimize. It would be very difficult for you to victimize them because their survival skills, their patterns of protecting themselves are so deep into place. And so they actually need things which are stronger, like boundaries. Now, boundaries is a confusing word. I avoided the word boundaries for a long time because I thought boundaries, I don't even know what they are. I don't know what they look like. I projected all sorts of things on what boundaries would. And I was like, I can't do that. I don't want to be that person. I don't have the capability to set a line and walk away. I don't have that ability. Mainly because I was scared. Because I thought if I set boundaries, then it would mean that it would encourage a narcissist to bring up my most painful issues again. I didn't want to bait a narcissist. I did not want to make things worse. I did not want to open that door because I knew how bad it could be. I didn't want to be that person, and I didn't want to put myself in that situation. And so because of that, I went the route of just be more compassionate, just be more understanding, just be more caring. And that's important. That's really good. But it's still missing the most important piece, which is your nervous system. And understanding how to set boundaries in a way that keeps you innocent, that will keep you safe. So I'd like you to think about boundaries like this. Boundaries are things you are willing to experience or not willing to experience. If you are not willing to walk in your home and ask a question about hamburgers for dinner, or the thermostat, or if they got that bill paid, if you don't want to be put in that situation, your boundary is, I don't want to be put in that situation. It's the truth. It's how you feel. A boundary isn't, you need to stop doing this, because you can't control a narcissist and it'll just add fuel to the fire. You can't say, you need to stop doing this. I'm not going to let you do this to me. It's really not going to make things easier, because in a narcissist's mind, you're the bully, you're the problem. And if you want to get out of this without making it blow up in your face, then you need to start speaking your truths without any shame or any blame or any pointing fingers at you or the other person. Because if you start pointing fingers at yourself, they see it as perfect justification to continue what they're doing because you deserve it. Clearly, you're the bad person. So when you start apologizing, hoping it'll smooth things over, it's not going to smooth things over. It'll just make things worse. But when you set a boundary, so a boundary would look like this. You decide you don't want to walk in at night and be attacked. And if you are attacked, that you will take a break and pause until both of you are calmer. If you need to leave, if they need to leave, doesn't matter. But you will not allow yourself to feel that way anymore, to feel attacked, feel battled, to feel belittled. You're not going to allow it. So what do? You say very clearly, you know what? I'm not going to let you attack me as soon as I come home anymore. I'm not going to allow myself. Actually, I'm not going to let you attack me. Sorry, mistake, cancel, reverse. I don't want to feel attacked as soon as I come home. And because I am feeling attacked, because I am feeling scared and anxious and nervous, I'm going to walk out for a little while until I can calm down and get myself centered. And when I come back, then maybe we'll see where we're at. So you're very clear about your boundary. It's not about what you're doing. It's not about any of that. It's, how do I feel? I don't like it when I come home and I feel attacked. And so I need to leave. I'm not going to allow myself to feel this way anymore, and I'm going to leave. Even if you say it just to yourself at first, soon you'll start having the confidence to say it to a narcissist and say, you know what, I'm not going to allow this. And if this does happen, this is how I'm going to handle it. And then the next time it happens, that's how you handle it. When you feel agitated, when you feel upset, it doesn't have anything to do with the narcissist pointing fingers at you and saying you're a bad person. It has to do with you respecting you. You saying to yourself, it's not the experience I want to have, and this is how I'm going to protect myself so I don't have this experience. If you don't want to go into fight or flight, then you need to go and pause and get out of fight or flight. And tons of tools to do that, tons of ways to do that. And you know most of them. Could be going for a walk, going to a spa, or I have even emergency tools that you can use right in the middle of a fight. Emergency 60-second tools you can use even if the fight hasn't started yet to stay calm in the middle of it. Even in the most difficult battles, like Child Protective Services has come to your house and they're at your door. You don't want to have that experience again. You don't want to be that scared again, that frustrated and hurt and upset. You don't want to be that person. And so you make a different choice. You say, I'm going to choose to go to the bathroom, calm myself down, and then I'll be right back. Or I'm going to choose while you're standing here talking to me to do one of my regulation things. It can be unobtrusive. It can be the TAT points, like you're holding your head. It can be stroking your arms. It can be stroking your hands, stroking your face. All of those work. It could be sitting in a posture that keeps you grounded. There are postures that make you feel level and stable. It could be creating an environment for yourself that reminds you of what's important to you and helps keep you calm, mementos. It could be essential oils. It could be music. There's lots of music that I use that keeps me level, that keeps my brain from triggering into fight or flight so that I can be coherent, so that I can make a conversation. So it's not about trying to get a narcissist to stop what they're doing, to stop them from fighting you, to stop them from minimizing you, to stop them from threatening you and your family. I'm going to kill you. We're going to take this car and we're going to crash it into a tree and I don't care. It's not about that. It's not about trying to control someone who is uncontrollable, who has to learn how to control themselves. It's about you choosing for yourself what experience you want to have and very clearly stating that without blame or guilt or shame. Understanding that a narcissist is flipped into their dysregulation and that they're unstable and irrational. And that's just the way that it is. That's reality. So if this is reality, what do I want to do about it? And as soon as you start regulating your nervous system, the whole situation changes. You're no longer controlled by that fear, by the knot, by the pulse in your head, by your heart beating too fast. You're no longer controlled by that. That stuff goes away when you regulate your nervous system. And then what happens is now you're the most intelligent, functional person in the room. If you set a boundary that gives you space or a way to regulate your nervous system, you will be able to stand up for yourself. Because you've been studying this all your life. You know you have. You know you have. You've got a library. You've got the Library of Congress in your head around self-help and compassion and personal growth. You've been doing it for forever. So, because of that, when you regulate your nervous system, when you pause and set a boundary that says, enough, I'm not willing to experience this anymore, you start making better choices. And you regulate your nervous system instead of trying to control the narcissist. And when you do that, you don't need to control the narcissist. Because they're not controlling you anymore. You don't need to control them. You're controlling you. You're in charge of your emotions. You're in charge of how you want to handle it. And you're making choices which don't leave you traumatized and re-traumatized and re-traumatized again. You're making choices where you can move forward. And then if a narcissist wants to move forward with you, great. Some do. Because some are borderline personality disorder that struggle with emotional regulation and they behave in ways that they think they have to in order to survive. That's based on things that happened when they were a child and brain chemistry, things going on in their physical being. So a lot of people want to move forward. They don't know how to move forward. They get trapped in those situations, in those relationships. And the only thing that's going to change it is when you become the version of yourself that loves and respects yourself. And what happens, some narcissists will fall away because you're way too much work. But they also won't mess with you too much because now you're calm and centered and intimidating. Now all these monstrous situations that you imagined or that have happened in the past, you don't let happen to you anymore. You don't let yourself go through that anymore. You don't have to tolerate it anymore. You don't have to be in that anymore. Because it's not about stopping a narcissist. It's about learning how to keep your body from telling you that you are in such danger because you're a strong, mature, functional, resourceful adult with lots of support that you cannot see because a narcissist keeps you in such a state of fight or flight. So, how do you keep your cool when a narcissist is battling you? You know ahead of time what your boundaries are. I will not allow you to swear at me. If you swear at me, this is how I'm going to handle it. And then you see how it turns out. And then you go from there. And it builds. Because every time you do that, it's a win. And the wins add up. The wins accumulate. Every time you regulate your nervous system, stay calm, and speak truth in a way that isn't belittling or pointing fingers, but is authentic, things change. It's your authenticity. It's your ability to stay centered and calm, not to pretend to be centered and calm, but actually be centered and calm. And the way you do that is not by controlling the narcissist. It's by diligently working on regulating your nervous system and retraining your body to go into regulation instead of to go into fight or flight. Right now, it's got the commuter lane to fight or flight. It's going as fast as it possibly can to fight or flight. But every time you set a boundary and you give yourself permission to calm your nervous system down, instead of wading into the muck and battling, you know, it's only a battle if both of you are battling. If you don't feel stressed, if you don't feel angry, if you don't feel frustrated, it's not a fight anymore. And you're able to listen to a narcissist and say, oh, that's interesting. Okay, well, I'm going to make hamburgers for myself. What would you like? Anything? I can make you a chicken breast? Nothing? Okay, that's fine. You're able to do that instead of cower or get angry or blow up or cry or huddle or contract yourself, you know, or get mad out. You get to say, okay, thanks for reminding me. I really appreciate that, because you're no longer the victim. Okay? So if you want to know how to get out, I've got some great programs, including one that can change your life in 3 months or less. So I've got a wonderful 3 months or less to me personally about that. And so set up a strategy call and we'll talk a couple times, see where you're at, see what's going on, see what you've budgeted, see how fast you want to move. And if you want to move, we can do 3 months and we can turn your life around really, really fast. Okay? Many women think working with me is a godsend because they finally learn not how to control the other person, but how to give themselves the love and respect that they always needed when they needed it, which was when they were scared and hurt and upset, and you start to change it all around. Okay? So I hope you have a great rest of the day. I'm looking forward to mine, and I'll talk to you later. Okay?